guide to write, publish, and sell your book with tips and insights from industry experts. And those experts is who we're going to talk about now.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So, Lord Jeffrey Archer, I had him on the show, and he was just. I've never been scolded on a show.
Oh, really?
And
Why?
he spent the larger part of 15 minutes just scolding me. Like I was an petulant, errant schoolboy. But he's adorable, isn't
He
he?
is adorable, yeah.
And he's just so forthcoming with everything. I asked
Yeah.
him about being imprisoned, and he was talking about his time in jail.
Yeah.
I was talking about him being in political life, and he's just so honest.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, even before I got into this book, saying, "Wow, it's awesome of her to get Lord Archer, because if there's anybody who'd be absolutely frank and forthcoming, it would be him."
It would be him. So, the book is broken up into how to write a good book, how to find the best publisher for your book, then how to market your book well, 3 sections.
Yep.
And then I added a 4th section, which was essays by industry stalwarts, whether it's the top authors, international, national, top agents, top publishers. I even got Millie Aishwarya of Penguin to talk about what to expect in a contract. Then marketing experts and even distributors. How does the distribution of books work? Because that was also something I was unaware of despite being published. The reason I got these industry experts is because I said, see, this is my opinion, right? It's my approach to writing and publishing. But of course, there are people out there who have a different perspective. So I wanted to get somebody like Durjoy Datta, who's one of the best-selling authors in India, to write about, okay, from Meghna's perspective, you make this much money as an author. But what about somebody who's a mega bestseller? So he's written a beautiful essay which has been so popular, especially with aspiring writers. Meena Kandasamy is one of my favorite writers. She's a literary fiction author. She's actually encouraged authors to go for small presses because there's such a fascination with always getting a top publisher like Penguin or Bloomsbury or whatever. She said, get your book published by the smaller guys because they'll take a bigger interest. So these are alternate perspectives. So I approached Shobha Day, I approached Twinkle Khanna, and all of them were so forthcoming. They were so eager to share the secrets and tips. So I wrote to Lord Jeffrey Archer, on a whim, because I'm also a journalist. I'm completely not afraid of being said no to. And he wrote back very quickly and he said, of course, I love India. I love my Indian readers. I'll write an essay. So, it worked out so seamlessly and he was extremely professional about it.
And Twinkle's had her own share of struggle, if I could call it that.
Absolutely.
Simply because it was so easy to beat her down and say, what is this celebrity wife of a movie star doing writing?
Yeah.
And then if you move beyond that, you realize that she's incredibly funny, and she's quite
She's
witty.
amazing. So I actually I'd met her last year for an interview for a magazine and I'd read her books for the first time. And the first question she asked me was, Meghna, did you read my books for the interview or had you read them earlier as a reader? And she was very disappointed that I hadn't read her books earlier. But it was very interesting because talking to her writer to writer, she is sharp, she's witty. I was telling her to take up stand-up comedy because she's actually hysterical. I mean, I was just in splits for an entire hour. She's so good. And I like the kind of person she is. I like the kind of writer she is. I actually enjoy her work.
And I've got to come back because you briefly mentioned distribution.
Right.
And you always walk into a on-ground bookstore,
Yeah.
a brick-and-mortar store, as it were.
Yeah.
And you look at what occupies pride of place, which is right in front.
Yeah.
And I found out through your book, I had no idea, that the distributor has a lot to do with that, in terms of the fact that there is a whole chain that happens and the distributor plays a very important role. And when you self-publish, you actually have to go to stores yourself.
Yes. Self-publishing is tough, but
We're going to do a whole section on that, but
Okay,
just the
yeah.
distribution angle.
So, what I find very interesting, what I found out actually while doing research for this book is that nobody in the publishing industry seems to be making money. So the author gets 10 to 15% from book sales. The publisher gets around the same amount. The distributor gets the same amount. The retailer apparently also gets the same amount. Then the printer is apparently the one who's making the money. So it's very interesting how the entire dynamics is really working. But these are all facts that I found out while doing research for the book. Another interesting tidbit is that out of all the books that are published in India, there are around 1 lakh a year, and the industry is growing contrary to popular expectation. It's a 10,000 crore industry. 1 lakh of books are published every year. Only 2% of those make it into bookstores.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Because nowadays books are, bookstores are shutting down. they are now keeping 70% to 80% merchandise. So now when you walk into a bookstore, you'll see a coffee shop, you'll see, Hallmark cards, you'll see stationery being sold, you'll see toys being sold, and only 20 to 30% will actually be books. So what kind of books are going to be kept in this bookstore, which occupy almost like a hallowed position, as you said? It'll only be the best-selling books, which is why the access to good books has gone away. So now India is reading the best-selling books, but not the best ones because of this.
Your last opportunity to win yourself an autographed copy of How to Get Published in India by Meghna Pant. Name her celebrity comic brother. For those of you
That's a googly, guys.
for those of you who tuned in early on, you would know this. If you haven't, then use your gray cells. So I want his name, and you can pop it on WhatsApp on 99677439943, 99677439943, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at HrishiKay, and Facebook.com/radio1.mum. You could pop that on the timeline or inbox along with your name. See you in a bit.